Coming up on today's Next Fan Up podcast.
Right now, Steve's thinking to himself, what the hell am I doing here? Oh, no, I can't talk about it, Jay. It makes me feel sick. I think
you have to.
Redskins.
This is your team.
You should feel sick for saying something sane and nice about Fitzpatrick and Rosen. Eat a bar of soap.
God, we really are in mid-season form, aren't we? Great.
It's week 6 in the NFL and a special Pigskin Pick'em guest. Here we go.
That's how we start! Yeah, baby!
32 super fans.
Where do the reports come from? Did you get an initial?
One PodVader.
That's football.
Every angle of the NFL covered.
All that kind of stuff, I get it.
This,
no question about it,
is Next Fan Up.
We won't unleash hell here in December.
Hello and welcome to the special guest edition of the Next Fan Up podcast. Hey everybody, PodVader here. Welcome to week 6 of the NFL. Man, the season is flying by, and to help me here present all of the picks from week 6, we have 2 superfans and a special guest. We will start with the superfans, as we always do, going across the pond to the man who's in Scotland, representing the Washington Redskins. It is Neil. Hello, Neil.
Hey, Jay. Hey, guys. Another week, another Redskins loss. And I would say hello to our special friend, but I think it's probably better just to do sort of like...
Wow, that was pretty good. That was much better than our attempt last week, Neil. Down in Atlanta, representing the Philadelphia Eagles, it is our superfan, James. I'm sure he's just shaking his head at this particular point in time.
Not yet, but at some point during this podcast, I will. How's it going, guys? Not so shocking. We had an firing in Washington this week, so that was pretty expected.
Listen, don't make me send memos like ESPN. No politics. No politics.
I didn't say anything.
And our special guest, we sent out the invites to everyone who has won a week in our Pigskin Pick'em. Only one person has responded, and that person won weeks 1 and 2. Didn't win last week, but is still leading the group as a whole. It is the Hooded Claw. Steve, welcome to the show.
Hello, Pod. Great to be here.
Now, Steve, you claim not to be a football expert, and yet you are killing it right now. You have a 2-game lead on everybody else in the Pigskin Pick'em group.
Well, I am not an expert, but I guess I let market forces work for me. Most of my picks are pretty conservative, I'm sort of sorry to say, and usually align with what most people are picking. Every once in a while, I try to go against the grain just so I'm not a total clod, but it's pretty conservative picking, to be frank.
Well, you did better than I did last week. I only got 9 right, 5 against the spread. I have no idea what the jabronis on the show with us got, because I don't believe you guys are doing the Pigskin Pick'em this year.
No, but I got most of them right, as usual.
I got 10 right last week, and I think I'm at 40 overall, maybe 42 for the year, 40 or 42.
Yeah, I'm 43 for the year.
40. Let's see here. I don't see you on here, Mr. James.
Because I changed my name from last year. My name this year is Thanos Was Right.
Oh, okay.
Oh, cool. Next year it'll be Thanos is dead.
I think technically he is, right?
Oh, gosh.
The winner for last week was Houston James, spelled with a Y, appropriately enough. I believe that is our super fan, Houston James. He has an open invitation whenever he wants to come on. So next up for the invite is Redskin Fan Forever 2019, Catherine McGruder.
All right.
You are invited to join us next week and take the place of Steve.
Can I just make
here with us this week?
Can I make a special plea to Catherine? Please, Catherine, come on. I need some support here. Washington's terrible. These guys are terrible to me about Washington. So come on, we can team up and take these 2 down.
Well, let's find out a little bit. Let's find out a little bit more about Steve. Steve, you may not be a Pigskin prognosticator, but you are a fan of a team. Unfortunately, not the right team.
Yes, and that would be the Kansas City Chiefs.
And how did you become a fan of the Kansas City Chiefs?
When I was a kid, I used to like the AFL. That was before the merger, sort of just to be a little bit perverse. So I watched AFL games, and I was hitched my wagon to the best team at the time, which was the Chiefs. And I've been loyal ever since, through good times and bad.
I think that's the first time we've ever had before the merger that was not one part of one of my silly stats. So I appreciate that.
You're quite all right.
Steve, I just feel fantastic right now. Somebody talking about football before the merger. I don't think I was born in, so this is great. We should have Steve on every week, Jay, every single week.
I actually sort of wanted to check out a memory to see if it was right, and it was right. And it was when the Chiefs played in Memorial Field, and those are the days when football fields were football fields. They used to have little arrowheads whose points were on the 40-yard line to mark the kickoffs. And they actually had in the middle of the field the helmets of both teams, the Chiefs and their opponents, to sort of decorate the center of the field.
That can't be that long after the now Chiefs left Dallas.
Yeah, I think that's right. I don't think they played in Memorial Stadium that many years.
James, do you have any questions for our special guest?
Nah, I mean, congrats on Super Bowl IV.
Well, thanks. It was a highlight.
I have to tell you, one of the great things about this being the 100th year of the NFL is they've got these wonderful specials and documentaries on. The unfortunate part is they're playing them during the season when nobody cares, and they're also playing them on Friday nights when no one's watching television. Thank God for the DVR. But I've been sitting down and I've been watching the top 100 games, top 100 plays in NFL history. And my favorite part sitting and watching these with my son are the ones that have the old time footage from movie theaters. Like I'm talking about, not only is it black and white, they're silent films when they have screens that pop up that explain what you're watching. That's fantastic. I love that we need more of that on the NFL Network.
Jay, the best one was for the 100 games where they only had a still shot of the stadium and there was no footage whatsoever.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, you see,
I have a question.
Football is, right? I was watching a college game and the rivalry went back to the 1890s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I have a question for Steve before we get on to this football nonsense.
Sure, Neil.
The listener won't know this, but Steve's got an extremely shiny dining table in the background. Steve, what do you polish that dining table with? Because I could do with some of that.
Well, it's just a white granite table, and I think the stone is intrinsically shiny.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It's very, very nice.
Well, thank you. They're nice because they're natural stones, and they all have their own little quirks and imperfections and stuff. They have a lot of personality.
Yeah, lovely.
Well,
I have a black granite table in my kitchen, but that one is actually really nice. What do you think, Jay?
It's a much better background than mine.
Come on, Jay, feign some interest.
I'm sorry. I don't watch the videos to try and pick out landmarks so I can figure out where Steve lives.
Well,
okay. There's the house with the shiny table through the window. I figured it out.
All right, just to balance up, since you're feeling left out, listener Jay has definitely changed his bed linen since last week.
And now I'm shaking my head.
There we go. If you would like to get involved with this nonsense, you can join the Pigskin Pick'em group anytime you want. We don't have it closed this year because there's no cash prize to be given out, just an invite to join us on the show. And as we mentioned, Catherine, Redskin Fan Forever 2019, you are invited. So you can join us. Just send us an email, nextfanup@gmail.com, or you can tweet us at NFU Podcast. Facebook.com/NFU podcast. Those are the ways to get in touch with us. Buffalo, Chicago, Indy, and Oakland are off this week. So we won't be talking about them today, maybe at the end of the show. Doubt it. couple of interesting notes here. Statistically, through week 5, the 2019 season is tied for the most games decided by 7 points or fewer in league annals. 2016 is the other year. 42 of the 78 games, that's 52.6% for those who like math, have been decided by 7 or fewer points, including 9 of 15 games in week 5. So the games, I mean, we've talked about this for the last couple of weeks. If everybody is good, doesn't everybody suck? Well, at least the games are close.
Unless you're playing the Dolphins or the Jets.
Well, we're going to see, because two sucky teams, the Dolphins and the Redskins, are facing each other. Somebody's got to suck worse.
First W going to somebody, unless they tie.
The other interesting note, this season, road teams are a combined 43, 34, and 1 through 5 weeks. That's the highest road winning percentage at this point in a season in 36 years. The last time NFL teams were more successful on the road through 5 weeks was 1983, when they were 40 and 30. What was going on in 1983? Let's ask the oldest person on the call. Steve?
I haven't a clue, Pod.
What was I doing in 1983? I was 9 years old. Oh, I was just discovering my love of the New England Patriots. That's what was happening in 1983 for me.
Sad times. What was What was that? But going back to your stat there, Jay, that's probably quite an interesting one. That's quite a change. What was it? Did you say 34 and 43 or something? Or 43 and 34? In
1983, they were 40 and 30.
No, not 1983. No.
Right now, we're 43, 34, and 1.
Yeah, that's quite a swing, isn't it?
That's a little bit, yeah. I mean, normally you would expect the home team advantage, but not this year. James, were you even born in 1983?
Yes, I was 5 or 6 years old, depending on what time of the year we're talking.
Okay.
He was running around in his Washington Gary Clark top.
No.
NFL clubs have also combined for 396 sacks so far this year through week 5. That's the second highest total over the last 2 decades. In that span, only the 2013 season had more. Entering week 6, they had 416.
Do you think that speaks to poor quality of offensive lines?
That's exactly what I was getting to, Steve. Congratulations. You are a football expert. See?
It's surely also to do with the number of pass plays.
I'm sure there could be some of that, but I do want to go back to, if everybody's good, then everybody sucks. Sort of idea of games are won, even in this day and age, on the line. And offensive line play this year, to me, has just been pathetic, Neil.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this before, isn't it? Certainly one of Chicago Tom's big bugbears is the quality, especially the interior linemen. But I think Steve's got a good point there, and I think it's that coupled with the fact that teams are passing much more. It's makes me sick. I want 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
So it's funny because every team wants to get a pass rusher to improve their pass rush to weaken the other team's offense, and yet offensively we're scoring a whole ton of points. We've got young quarterbacks now in the league. We're sacking guys like crazy, but ultimately it doesn't matter because the games are coming down to 7 points or less.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A crazy game that we follow.
But it just shows you the margins in the game. That's why teams can turn it around so quickly these days. It's just small margins in games. Just the occasional plays made by the great players, I guess, differentiates teams, no?
Very true. But this is a game where
in the trenches.
I don't suspect we'll see a small margin of error, because it is the Thursday night football game featuring the New York Jets visiting my undefeated New England Patriots. The Patriots,
the New York
number one in the power rankings. The Giants are 24th.
Yeah, the Giants, not the Jets.
Did I say the Jets? I meant the Giants.
You did.
Listen,
Jake, is it possible just to stop the podcast for a moment? Just for 5 seconds to ask a question?